And there are times when you just have to lay it on the line and hope. And prayer is about the only thing you have going your way. And right now, if you're a New York Jet fan, that's the case regarding the starting quarterback for the New York Jets for the next couple of years, maybe 3, 4, 5, or 2, 1, whatever it might be. Because one of the guys that, by all accounts, you loved and was you were amazed with and mesmerizing and, multiple meetings with, we love this guy, is no longer your guy. Because Derek Carr has now signed a 4-year, $150 million deal with the New Orleans Saints, $100 million guaranteed, so $25 million per year over the 4 years guaranteed. And now what do you got? The hope that Aaron Rodgers says, of all the places I could possibly be, I can't imagine being anywhere but wearing jet green. What a bunch of suckers. Hi, Evan. How are you today, kid?
I'm a sucker.
Yeah, I know you are.
I'm a big sucker.
Yeah, well, listen, I hope you're right. And I could be proven wrong, and I'd love to be wrong on this. But this is a calculated risk that may turn out backfiring on the New York Jets.
This is a calculated risk that I'm going to own this because I said this 2 weeks ago, so I'll say it today now that Derek Carr is officially gone.
And Mike, can I just say one thing? This is why I say on this show, and I apologize for interrupting you there, I've said it a million times. If I've said it once, I say it on TV in the morning. I say it here every single day. Other than Schefter and Rappaport, when anybody else puts some kind of nonsensical story out there that's always got a million outs to it, like the one that happened yesterday, which was, the Derek Carr has a slight lean to the Jets, but he could still sign elsewhere.
Right.
It's crap. It's not based on anything factual. There's nothing inside information about it. There's two guys, in my opinion, that you can always trust, and they may get one wrong here or there, but they are money good. And that's Ian Rappaport, and that's Adam Schefter.
When I saw that slight lean last night, a part of me said, all right, this ain't happening.
Nonsense. I said the same exact thing.
A part of me figured,
slight lean.
Yeah, the opposite's going to happen.
That's just the guy trying to make a name for himself. That's all that was, and it's embarrassing.
I think that this is a gamble. This is a risky play, and I fully support it. Because, we spent weeks talking about this. Aaron Rodgers, whether you think it's going to happen or not, and only time will tell, gives this team a better chance to win.
Short term, absolutely.
Period. Stop.
Yep.
So if it fails and they don't get Aaron Rodgers, and now we're debating Jimmy Garoppolo and Baker Mayfield and Ryan Tannehill, look, that debate's going to suck. I own it. That debate's not going to be fun. But you got to go for it, man. I'm sick of losing.
Yeah?
That's my phrase. I am sick of freaking losing, and Aaron Rodgers gives you the best chance to win. So let Derek Carr go to New Orleans. Let him take that crappy division. Let him play indoors.
By the way,
let him do it.
It's not the dumbest business move either. If you're Derek Carr,
that's fine.
And the numbers are right, you get $100 million guaranteed, and you are now the best quarterback in a division.
No doubt.
And you are the favorite to now win a division, meaning home playoff games, everything that comes along with it. Even if you came to the Jets, you're the second best quarterback in the division, and you're not guaranteed anything.
And as I said to you a few weeks ago, even though you didn't like hearing this, I'm sorry. I'm going to say it again. I apologize.
Say what you got to say.
He's a crappy co-other quarterback.
Oh, come on.
And he's not going to have to deal with that in the NFC South. Good for him. I'm happy for him.
Yeah, well, as far as, regular season games go, in the specific division.
For the most part, he's not going to have
That's only 6 games out of 17, though.
Listen, Jordan Love is not hosting playoff games at Lambeau Field, all right? So I got nothing to worry about. And I'm sorry, Derek Carr is a good quarterback, and he was clearly my second option like he was for a lot of people. But we're going to put this guy in the Hall of Fame now? We're going to freak out that they lost Derek Carr. I mean, I posted the numbers earlier as much as it may piss people off. Andy Dalton statistically was just as good last year. So congratulations, New Orleans. You got Derek Carr. And
I think it's a major upgrade for them, and it puts them in the playoffs.
Okay, Derek Carr was 6-9 last year. Andy Dalton was 6-8. So you tell me about the major upgrade.
Don't start
Derek
that.
Carr threw 5 more interceptions and 6 more touchdown passes. He completed 6% less of his passes based on completion percentage. But that's fine. You can go crazy about Derek Carr. You can have a parade in New Orleans. That's your call. That's great. Have a good time.
And listen, as a former gambler, I respect and I understand the notion of you got to take your shot. You got to take your shot knowing that if you don't close the guy you're going after, in this case Aaron Rodgers, that you're going to wind up with a much lesser quarterback than the guy you could have had from Jump Street, which is Derek Carr. I get it. I respect it. We haven't had a guy like Aaron Rodgers in this town ever. You can't point to a single year where we had an Aaron Rodgers on this roster.
So you're not going to include the 1 year you got us Brett Favre? That wasn't disqualifying?
Because it turned out it didn't work out, right? And it was a 1-year thing, and he didn't want to be here, and he was sending pictures of his junk to random people he never met, and all that other nonsense, right? I get it. But you also have to be prepared for not closing the deal.
Yeah.
Because it's not entirely up to the Jets, right? Yeah. Green Bay's got to trade him. Yep. He's got to want out of Green Bay. Yep. He's got to be willing to come here. There's hurdles still to this.
Craig, it's a risk. And you're right. I get that. But if Derek Carr wanted to sign today, if March 6th was the day where he said, enough of the waiting, I'm going to sign, did you really want to settle for the clear second best option?
I was willing to.
Why?
Because he's still better than anything else I've had in my lifetime.
Look, he's not that much better than everybody else.
Okay, but he's better.
Okay, he's the second best quarterback out there after Aaron Rodgers, and put Lamar Jackson to the side. I'm not arguing that.
Yeah.
But you guys act like he's the second coming. You guys act like, oh my God, how could you pass on Derek Carr? Look, I just gave you the numbers. Was he that much better than Andy Dalton last year? Let's stop freaking out about this guy.
Well, that's that side. Now, the other things happening, of course, Aaron Rodgers, does he become a Jet? If not, how quickly does Robert Saleh ask for a reunion with Jimmy Garoppolo? That seems to make sense, obviously. But, the New York Giants are in play today, too, because tomorrow at 4 o'clock is the franchise tag deadline.
Yes.
They have to make a decision both on Saquon Barkley and I guess, more importantly, on Daniel Jones. Now, one of the reports is that they are meeting face-to-face today with Daniel Jones's agents. That tells me that a deal gets done today, or certainly by 4 o'clock tomorrow. But I've been thinking about this whole franchise tag scenario. And while it obviously has a major impact on what they do with Saquon Barkley, there's a lot of me that says it's in the Giants' best interest to just tag him with that non-exclusive tag. Nobody's going to offer you 2 first-round picks for Danny Jones. So you're basically announcing to the Giant fan base, he's our quarterback next year, period, stop. Now, nothing committed beyond that. Of course, we could always negotiate during the year,
right,
but he's our quarterback for 1 year. The flip side of that is that makes no sense for Danny Jones. And if I'm the Giants, I'm going to call that bluff. And my bluff is I'm not giving you X amount of dollars, whatever the numbers really are. I'm going to franchise tag it. I'm going to give you $32 million next year, which is less than market rate is for you right now, which a lot of people believe is mid to high 30s.
Yeah, Derek Carr just signed apparently for 37.5 as an average annual.
You're not getting more than Derek Carr. He's now set the table for a lot of quarterbacks not named Aaron Rodgers, right? And if I'm the Giants, I hope I can figure out Saquon. Maybe I can. But putting that to the side, Daniel Jones had a good season. We acknowledge that. His best season as a pro. Stayed healthy the entire year, cut down on the turnovers, all that stuff. But, man, I'd like to see you do it again before I commit $70, $80, $90 million guaranteed to you if you're just an average quarterback and that's all you are. And I think Daniel Jones is making a terrible mistake. Because if the New York Giants just dig in and go, listen, we're not going to go to your numbers, whatever those numbers are, we're going to franchise tag you, and that's that. All of a sudden, Daniel Jones has to come back and have a better year than next year with nothing guaranteed
it's also
beyond the $32 million.
It's also going to be difficult for him to have a better year while playing on the franchise tag when the Giants are probably not going to be able to do as much to improve the talent around you.
Now, there's not a lot of wide receivers out there anyway. So you're going to hope for a good draft, but you have about $15, $17 million left.
It's not a good thing, though, to have Daniel Jones play on the tag.
I think it's phenomenal.
No. Everything you laid out is true. I'm not arguing about your point about Daniel Jones. What I'm arguing with you about is that from a salary cap perspective, you don't want to have 32.5 as your cap number for Daniel Jones next year. That's not good. You're going to lose Saquon Barkley. Then you got to replace him. Then you got to add better receivers. And you're going to do that with a quarterback taking up 32.5 on your books. So I'd agree that it's not good for Jones. You're putting a lot of pressure on him. Go have a better year. And go do it with less weapons. And, oh, by the way, go do it with the Giant fan base pretty pissed off at you. But you still want to work out a long-term deal. It behooves everybody to work out a long-term deal.
But it behooves Daniel Jones the most.
Yes.
Which is why I'm surprised if they're willing to go to the mattresses and gamble that he has a better year and thus gets a bigger contract.
They don't want to lose Saquon Barkley.
I'm saying from Jones' side, from his agent side. If they're offering you a 4 or 5 year deal, mid to high 30s, I'm making this up, obviously.
Right.
$70, $80 million guaranteed. If Derek Carr got 100 guaranteed, I say Danny gets 80, 85 guaranteed. And you say no to that, you're doing two things. Number one, you're putting your career at risk from a financial standpoint. And I respect betting on yourself. I get that.
Aaron Judge just did it.
Yep, I respect that for sure. But number two, you're also hurting the team's ability, as you just said, to surround you with the best possible talent. Daniel Jones has to recognize I'm a better quarterback with Saquon Barkley behind me or lined up to the side, right? I'm a better quarterback if they can spend more money to get better players, specifically skill position players around me. If I get franchised, I throw a lot of that into the water.
I think Daniel Jones and the Giants both know that if the tag is issued to him before 4 o'clock tomorrow, that's not forever.
No.
Like, it's a ploy in a long negotiation. Now, that sucks for the Giants because you want to get this thing figured out soon. You got free agency opening up in a week and a half, and you want to make sure your books are clean. But if you're Jones, I think in the back of your mind, you're thinking, and his agents are thinking, I'm going to sign a long-term deal, but I want to continue to apply the pressure on Joe Shane and the Giants. But I got to go back to something you said.
Yeah.
And I don't know the answer. I'm just thinking out loud.
Sure.
They apply the non-exclusive tag on him, which means anybody can make him an offer, and if he signs it and the Giants don't match, they have to give up 2 first-round picks.
Yes.
Are we really assuming that in this quarterback-desperate league, there isn't an NFL team that would be willing to give up 2
You got to figure the teams that are drafting top 5, 6, 7 are not going to do that because they're going to get one of these young quarterbacks. There's 4 of them that appear to be draftable in the first 15, 20 picks, right? Whatever it is. So if you exclude teams like the Texans, the Bears, the Colts, whomever it might be.
Carolina, I guess,
I mean,
at this point.
theoretically, is there a team? Yeah, depending on who their coach is and what that coach's,
are you not afraid?
Hot seats like?
Are you not afraid? Because I am that team's the Jets. Because if they miss out on Aaron Rodgers, and now all of a sudden there's this huge drop off at quarterback, like we talked about, Daniel Jones is a considerable upgrade. Now I want to make something clear, and I said it last week. I don't know your opinion. I'm not giving up 2 number 1s for Daniel Jones. I apologize. No. I'm not. But I'm not so sure, Craig, that they wouldn't.
By the way, would you argue that Daniel Jones is a better fit for the Jets than Jimmy Garoppolo?
Well, based on age.
Can't trust Jimmy to stay healthy either, right?
Based on age and based on we haven't seen his full potential, I totally get it. But am I giving him the money he wants and 2 first-round picks? I'm telling you I'm not willing to.
Yeah.
I don't know if Joe Douglas feels that way, and that's the risk now the Giants have. Are they willing to let him go? Are they willing to say, all right, we're going to get 2 number 1s?
We also do not know. We've only had Joe Shane here for a season.
Right.
And he did a great job opening up cap room, obviously. And then, they did a great job, competing, et cetera, et cetera. We don't know about Joe Shane yet. Is he a big, let me stock as many draft picks as I can to one day move up? Is he a guy that thinks I can fix my quarterback position with a guy like a Jimmy Garoppolo, Ryan Tannehill, whatever the name might be? And I want to get 2 first-round picks for a guy I ultimately think is an average quarterback? Now, just so everyone understands how it works, I called Mike Florio up from Pro Football Talk because I respect that Mike knows certain things that I just don't know the answers to. And when it comes to the 2 first-round picks, just real quick, the only teams that are eligible to trade prior to the draft are teams that have a first-round draft pick in this draft, 23, and the 24 draft.
So Miami wouldn't then be able to do it.
Miami could do it after the draft and trade their 24 and their 25.
Oh.
So I just wanted to be clear about that.
Well, let me ask you this.
Go ahead, yep.
Because now you got me thinking.
Yeah.
The wheels are working.
Yeah.
Carolina needs a quarterback.
Yes.
I don't know if they're committed to just drafting someone at 9, bringing Sam Darnold back. Maybe they want Daniel Jones. It certainly makes sense. They're picking 9th in the draft. I doubt they'd be willing to give up the 9th overall pick. Wouldn't it make sense for Daniel Jones to then wait until after the NFL draft?
Well, yes, because it adds more teams to the list that could trade for him.
And it takes a team like Carolina and says, I wasn't willing to give up number 9, but next year we expect to be good in this crappy division. We'll give up 22.
Yeah.
So that could open up a bigger field and delay this whole Daniel Jones process, which sucks for the Giants.
Yeah.
Because then you don't know who your quarterback is.
I mean, listen, it could. I just wonder, and I don't know the answer to this either. Because he's our quarterback, meaning New Yorker's quarterback, right? because we see him every single game, every single down. We know what he's good at. We know what he sucks at. I don't know if we judge him fairly on either side. Are we too critical of him? Or are we too positive about him?
Right.
I don't know the answer. Like, if you're I'll make this up. If you're who'd be a good team for me to use? I'll just use the Chicago Bears because they're Chicago Bears, right? Or the Detroit Lions. If you're one of those teams, what do those fan bases think about Daniel Jones? Would they be super happy to acquire Daniel Jones
I don't
for
know.
2 first-round draft picks? I'd say probably not.
You know why they may be more partial to Daniel Jones than even us? Because they watched him win a playoff game.
Yeah, I mean, and he played great, 300 yards,
and
right?
he played well. In the Philadelphia game, I think most people are willing to put their arms up and say, the Eagles were good. They were far better than the Giants. But if you're a Carolina Panthers fan and you want a quarterback, and maybe you don't believe in anybody in this draft, and you don't believe in Sam Darnold or P.J. Walker, I don't know. Maybe you look at Daniel Jones winning a playoff game and say, hey, he's 25 years old.
Yeah.
Makes
prime.
plays with his legs. Sign me up. I'm in.
I mean, maybe. It's fascinating to me, and the first chip fell today. And that first chip is Derek Carr to the New Orleans Saints. So if you're a diehard Jet fan, it felt like a body blow today, but not to you. It seems like you're not all that bothered by it. I feel like I took a body blow.
Ideally, in an ideal world, I would have enjoyed Derek Carr waiting to be our backup plan, to be that girl. Just in case it doesn't work out with her, I got her. But him going to New Orleans isn't breaking my heart because at the end of the day, the eye on the prize to me is Aaron Rodgers.
Always
the
has been
best
for you.
chance to win a championship is Aaron Rodgers. And as the days have gone by, here's what I've noticed. I find this fascinating. You have lost confidence in the possibility. I've only gained it.
Oh, I've never thought Aaron Rodgers was becoming a Jet. I've told you that from day one.
I think I'm more confident today than I was a few months ago, and I always had some semblance of confidence that just using logic. That's all I'm using. That it makes sense for him to be a Jet. It makes sense for the Packers to say, enough's enough, we're moving on. Yeah. And it makes sense for the Jets of all the teams in the NFL, specifically the AFC, to see we're going to be the ones to go get him.
Yeah, well, number one, I don't think he's leaving Green Bay still, but obviously we'll be here and sit with you until it happens. But it'd be nice if Aaron Rodgers would let people know. Be nice, right? At some point to say, okay, I've made my decision, because why announce that whole stupid blackout retreat and the notion that once you came out of it, you'd have clarity and the ability to tell people. He loves this attention.
You know,
he can't get enough of this
Craig,
crap.
I feel bad
That's
saying
the prima
this.
donna you want.
I feel bad saying this. You're just
Then don't say it.
You're a part of Big Pharma. You're a part of everybody
I am
that's
not a
looking,
part of Big Pharma.
You're a part of everybody. Pfizer. You're all looking to vilify Aaron Rodgers.
There we go.
You're all out to get this
guy. You're going to
guy.
kiss his ass till he comes here.
All this guy said was, I'm going into this hole for 4 days. I'm going to think about life. I'll also think about football, but I'm thinking about life. And you guys, you sports media numbskulls, you drew up this fake story of he's going to come out and make a decision.
Well, he said it.
No, he said, I'm going to think about life while I'm in there. And he was thinking about everything.
Well, we'll get all your calls. Jets now losing out on Derek Carr. New York Giants 26 hours away, a little less than that now, of having to make a decision on franchising or not Daniel Jones. So it's lots cooking, man. And that doesn't even include the fact that the New York Knicks have won 9 consecutive games and beat the Boston Celtics in double overtime last night. Woohoo!
Yay.
We're playing basketball.
Bing bong.
We're playing basket. And I heard some of you guys last week, and it was always through the lens of a Nets fan. Not today, bitches. It's through the lens of a Knicks fan.
Yes, delusional glory.
Yes.
We love Knicks fans winning a title. I love when Emmanuel quickly skips. Julius Randle's the MVP. We miss this. This station doesn't have enough of that. I'm so glad to hear it.
The Knicks are going to do damage.
Yeah, we don't need to play that often. I got enough of that on Twitter on vacation. I do not need to see that often. But use it as you feel fit, okay?
The Knicks are back.
See, I hate that.
I hate that too.
We're
back.
Where'd we go? We left for a while?
Yeah.
We'll get all your calls. We got lots cooking. We will do the NBA for sure. I want to make sure everyone recognizes that I'm back and the Knicks are a front story right now. But, of course, football takes precedence.